It's time. You want to double your rates, you want to triple your rates. You've been working on the same projects for a while and you feel like this is the next step. In this video, I'm going to show you top 9 things you need to keep in mind to make sure you can double up your rates. What's going on, legends? Welcome back to another vlog. My name is Dan Bragg, and in today's video I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do to make sure you can double up or even triple up your rates from what you're used to. Now, everything I'm going to show you today is what I've learned from experience dealing with clients over time, and I watched webinars, read online, asked questions, made mistakes, and this is a compilation of everything that I've learned. Let's hop on my screen where I'm going to show you exactly the steps you need to take. So number one thing is you want to make sure you're prompt. So what do I mean by that? There's a famous quote, many different people out there said it. If you're not first, you're last. What that means is if somebody calls your phone and inquires about a business and you're not answering it, they're gonna call right away the next person. What that means is if you are not available to help them, they're just gonna move on. So you gotta make sure that you're always prompt. If you haven't picked up the phone because you're busy in a meeting, make sure you give them a call within the hour. Just because they call someone else doesn't mean they already took the business right away. If you wait a couple days to call them back, most likely than not, you're not gonna get that business. So very quick point, there's not much to say about it, just be always there. The next point I wanna cover is confidence. Now this is an issue I've seen a lot in groups, and I see a lot of people asking me too about your rate and how should you approach a project. And what I want you to understand here is this. You gotta position yourself as an expert. If you treat yourself as an expert in the field and you believe that you know what you're talking about, then there should be no reason why they don't see the clients, why they won't see the same thing. Over time, you've collected testimonials. So that means that you have a track record to show that you're good at what you do. Talk about your achievements. Over time, throughout your career as a freelancer or as an agency, you've built different projects. You worked on websites, graphics, SEO. You have some sort of achievements, so make sure you show them. The next point is I want you to do is provide lots of value to your clients. Now, what do I mean by providing value? So first of all, when they give you a call or you're in that meeting, you want to make sure that you can pretty much give them basic design industry standards, so they understand what is okay, what is not okay to think about even before jumping onto the project. Now explain to them what a proper website can do for them. So by you taking on and building a new website, or just in other terms, maybe you're doing SEO for them, explain to them what is that you're gonna do that gonna make a difference for them. Show them that you've researched the company, you've researched the industry, you're prepared to hop on the project. You're not just trying to get the first thing from them and just get the paycheck and let's go. You're actually trying to understand them. You want to show them that you've actually done the research prior to the meeting. You're interested, you're invested, and they should feel that from you. Next point is proper discovery. So discovery, as some of you might know, is when you go to a meeting, you ask questions, they ask questions back, but you want to make sure you have something prepared. You want to make sure that you have good questions that you're asking, not just asking anything. So number one is have a questionnaire prepared, whether it's mental or on paper where you take notes down. That's important to have. It shows that you're prepared, you're a professional that's ready to do the job. In the strategy session, in the discovery session, you're planning what you're gonna do for them, how you're gonna do it. So in this case, you want to plan out what is the result that they're after and how you're gonna get there. So you're planning out point B, you're showing them how point A is you and gonna take them to point B. Break everything down in between. So there's point A and point B, of course, but you want to make sure that you show them what is that you're gonna do in between. So for example, if you do websites, you're gonna start with obviously a wireframe. After the wireframe, you're gonna move on to color and fonts, and then graphics, and then you're gonna move on to interactive designs potentially. And then you're gonna actually do the development in stages, put the content in. So make sure you break that whole process up so they understand exactly what's gonna happen, so that they don't get surprised because we didn't know this is gonna happen, right? Make sure you guide the client. So in the discovery, you're right there as an expert. You should tell them, hey, I don't think this is a good idea to do it this way, or I don't think we should be using those kind of colors. guide them, because the more you do your part as an expert, the more they'll trust you and be hands-off, let you do your job. Map out the required pages. So what do I mean by that? It's really nice to have for both the developer side, the designer side, and also for the client to know what pages do they want. Now, by having pages, I don't just mean the about us and service and so on, but actually what happens when you click on services, where does it go? What happens when you land on the next page and it shows you a form? What happens when you submit the form? All of those steps are important, because now you as the designer or developer or the project manager, you know exactly what is involved in the project. And that means no surprises. The client can say, hey, well, I want this page out of 2. And they can tell you, hey, I always wanted that there. From the mapping out session, you will know exactly what's going on. The client will be on the same page with you, and everyone is happy. Plan out the content. Now, here's the question that a lot of people are asking. How do you get content? I'm gonna cover that in a whole other video, but really quick to the point here. In a discovery session, this is your chance to let them know, here's the content that we need, here's the content that you have and what we can do with it. And you wanna make sure that your clients actually provide you the content, of course, if that's what the agreement is. But in this case, you want to make sure you have placeholders for them to know where to fill out content. So what I mean by placeholders, it can be in the form of lorem ipsum, it can be in the form of blocks of fake text, placeholder, right? A bunch of placeholder. Or you can put images instead, whatever the case is, so they know that this is where text will go and they need to replace it with that amount of text. Clients normally don't know or have an idea how much text should go on a page, so it's in your best interest to show them, okay, this is where the about us section, this is the one paragraph we want there. We don't want a whole story there because nobody's going to read it. By doing that, you're actually guiding them and letting them know what they need to prepare for you. Plus, it might actually save them a lot of time, a lot of energy to write a bunch of stuff, and now they're much quicker to give you the content. Last point is, you want to establish deadlines. Now, in your discovery, you've done all your research, you've talked to them about everything that needs to be done. Now you need to establish deadlines with them. When do they expect the website launch? When do they want to get started? When can they get you the content? When are they going to send you pictures? Essentially, a bunch of things that needs to be set on paper so that both of you are in agreement. That way, when things do come up and they're late or they're not ready for you or they're busy with that stuff, you have your contract and you can start charging fees if they're taking a sweet time. So speaking of proper discovery, I actually want to show you a quick clip of a trip that I just recently took where a client flew me out so that I can actually see a full-on on-site experience, understand who they are, what they're doing, how they're operating, and I get a very inside vision of what the product is all about. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that clip, so back to the PowerPoint. Next point is don't rush. Now what do I mean by don't rush? Appear busy, essentially. Like you're an agency, right? You're an agency, you're working with many clients, you have many projects to handle. Not every client that calls you right away should you jump on making a proposal for them. Because you need time. And obviously everyone knows the quote, fake it till you make it. So if you're just starting out as a freelancer and you're just switching over to an agency, or you want to double up your rates and you're not sure like why would you do that, or like you can send them a proposal right now. If you take the time to send a proposal, you're showing that you're researching about their project, you're researching about their industry, you're taking the time to actually consider all the elements and all the features that you're going to be developing, and you're actually writing a proposal for them, right? Now that you wrote them a big proposal, it does take a few days to write it. So for some agencies, it might take a week or two sometimes, right? Depending on how big the project is. So you got to make sure that you know who the client is, who you're working with budget-wise, and then you want to make sure you essentially play a little bit hard to get. It's kind of really similar to dating in a way. Ensure that nothing is missed. So you're writing the proposal, you've done the discovery with them, or you've done the phone call, whatever it is, you know what's going to go in the project. they know what's going to go in the project. What you both know might be a little bit different from each other. So you want to make sure that you've done your due diligence to check that everything is included. Anything that might be missed and you didn't know or missed somewhere else or whatever the case is, you're going to be the one to blame. And if you decide not to do it, or you decide to blame the client for it, all it's going to do is a conflict. Most likely than not, both sides are not going to like each other. You're not going to win much, they're not going to win much, and it's just not going to be a good mutual feel there. Agree on a time on when you're going to send in a proposal. So what I like to do is I like to make them, anticipate it, like wait for it. I want them to sit there and like kind of think about it, but not be too stressed about it, right? So the idea is that just like when you go on a first date, you don't call them right after the date. You wait till the next day or the day after, send them a text or a call or whatever it is. Same idea here. You don't just have a meeting, write a proposal and send it to them all within the same day. You want to make sure you give it a little bit of time. They need to think things through. They need to talk to their partners. They need to talk to their team, right? They want to make sure their budget aligns it, the accountant is allowing it, whatever the case is. So you want to make sure you're allowing some time for them, for yourself, and then once it's all ready to go, then you send it off. Now, before you send it off, you want to make sure you have a checklist done, so you have this solid proposal set up. Now, again, this is going to be a total other video too, and I'm going to walk you through right now the steps of what I want to see in a proposal for your agency so you can double up your rates. So, agency experience is important, of course. You want to talk about how long you've been in the business, what kind of work you've done, why you're good at what you do, what are you recognized for, and so on. So you want to ensure that you have all that listed on the agency experience page. The project approach. How are you going to go about the project? Now, yes, you talked about it in discovery, or maybe you're just writing this from the phone conversation. But the project approach should show them exactly step by step of what you're planning to do with images and screenshots to make it visual appealing and make it easy for them to read. Timelines, of course, just like you talked on the phone or in a discovery session or meetings or whatever, you want to have your timelines. So this is not an official contract yet, it's just a proposal. But they need to actually take those timelines, comprehend them, make sure they can actually work with those timelines, and then we'll move on to the agreement after that. The costs, or the way I like to frame it, as investments, because we don't have costs, we only invest in the business. We are improving their website, we're improving their lead collection, lead generation, right? So we want to make sure they are framed in an investment mindset. So the investment portion is where you break down what you're doing for them and how much it costs, of course. Next steps, you gotta make sure you actually let them know what do they need to do to call you next. Now, some of those things might seem very obvious, but not every client knows that they need to send you 50%, or they need to sign an agreement, or do they need to call you. They are not sure which step to take first, so you're gonna outline to them what they need to do. And I also like to include the next steps is, feel free to ask for references, we're more than happy to send them through and so on. FAQ, I like to include a page that talks about generally asked questions that I always see. So whether it's, hey, why do you use WordPress? Or will I be #1 on Google when we build the website? You gotta make sure you address those questions. I've had in the past clients asking, hey, you built the site, how come I don't show up #1 on Google? And this is a mistake that I've done in the past, of course. You gotta make sure you outline to them that, hey, just by building a website, it doesn't mean you're gonna be #1 on Google. It just means that we're building you a website. The backhand will have SEO friendly structure to it. We'll do all the optimization we can, but if you wanna be #1 on Google, it requires time, it requires maintenance, and so on. That's a whole other service on its own. A few case studies. So if you have some work from the past, obviously display it, talk about why you did certain things, how you did them, what the results are, and so on. That's huge. For those of you that are watching the video that don't really have an agency experience, don't really have an idea of the cost, don't really have case studies, fake it until you make it, like I said in the last couple of slides. In an agency experience, as a freelancer, you have experience. Just because you can write experience about we instead of I, then do that. If you can write about the costs, you're not sure about how much to charge, start with whatever you can. Look at the first couple of videos where I talk about how to get your first client, how much to charge. Then come back to this video again. Make sure you have a number in mind, and then we'll continue from there. Case studies. In this case, if you don't have case studies, take a project that you're happy to work on, whether it's a friend for your personal project or take a client and do it for free. Whatever the case is, improve the current project or whatever you're working on, and then talk about that. That's a case study right there. Now guys, a quick note, I haven't decided if I want to do this just yet, but if I see a lot of interest, a lot of comments below, I might actually show you what my proposals look like. I might even give you a template to use as well. So make sure you drop a comment below, like the video. If I get enough likes, I might just do that. Next point is double plus 10%. What do I mean by that? So, first thing is you've set your rate. Let's just say you have a website project and let's just go with $1,000. Are you covering your expenses with this $1,000 deposit? Or sorry, the deposit will be 50%. Are you covering your expenses with $500? So if you have your designer or a developer, or maybe you're doing it yourself and you know it's gonna take you 10 hours, are you okay with spending 5 hours and getting the pay that you're gonna get? If you're okay with that, great. If not, let's talk about the next point. Whatever number you put down, so say it's $1,000, double it. Most likely than not, you didn't calculate properly. Most likely than not, you didn't account for a lot of things that might happen in a project. A client all of a sudden wanted a feature that you didn't know, like say a booking system. You knew they want a contact form so people can contact them directly to book their dentist appointment, but you didn't actually know they wanted a booking system. Now that's obviously a bad mistake to make, but let's just say that happened. Now you accounted for it because you doubled your numbers that you initially put down. Once you doubled it, add another 10%. Chances are that even after you double that, it's still probably not enough to cover all the little things that come up. The client asks for extra things, extra revisions. That 10 extra percent will cover that and increase your profit margins as well. Next thing is be on time. So what I mean with be on time is not just show up in a meeting on time, which is a given of course, but send the proposal that you promised on time. So if you said, hey, today is Monday, for example, and you're saying I'm gonna send the proposal on Wednesday morning, you're gonna send that proposal. If you're gonna send it on Thursday, that shows them that you are handling projects that way all the time. That means that the website you're gonna deliver to them is gonna be late. That means that your communication will be late. It's just a bad look. So if you wanna be taken seriously, if you wanna be taken as an expert and actually someone that's gonna show love and care for the project, be on time. Like I said, it shows professionalism. It allows you to, it shows the ability that you can follow the deadlines, and then they're a little bit more at ease to give you this project. And the last slide I want to talk about is following up. Now you've sent the proposal, right? Now what? So I don't like to rush again. Just like again, back to my analogy with a date. You went on a date, you said you're gonna follow up maybe. Well, you never say if you're gonna follow up with a date, but 2 days later, you hit the person up, hey, how you doing? Or you give them a call, right? In this case, same idea. Hey, like, I've sent you the proposal, like, I wanted to check up on you. If they don't answer, leave a voicemail, of course. After the voicemail, you also want to send an email. So, call, they don't answer it, leave a voicemail, plus email. Why do we do that? Because some people are actually busy. It might be a Monday morning, they're slammed with a lot of calls, a lot of projects, they're not paying attention to their phone, or they didn't want to pick up right now, talk to the web designer about the project, they want to hold it off, maybe that's the last priority. So you're calling to check up on, hey, how is it going? I sent you a proposal, I just wanted to see if there's any questions. Of course you want to talk about it in a more professional manner. But if they don't answer, you leave a voicemail. Why? Because we want to make sure they know exactly why you called. They need to know the urgency of the call because, hey, like you needed this project, not me. There's the reason why I'm calling you. I wanted to see what's going on. I haven't heard from you in a couple of days. And I'm gonna send you also an email as well, just so you have my contact information, just in case you got lost in between the emails. We're also doing that email sending because we want to bump up our original email to the very top. Now they can see the proposal in a thread. Now they can see a reminder about who we are. And plus, I've had more positive than negative reaction about following up. A lot of clients love it. They're like, thank you so much for following up. At the moment we don't have any questions, but we'll get back to you within the next couple of days or whatever. It's just genuinely they didn't have a chance to even read the proposal. That could be their case, but they do appreciate you calling. If again, they didn't pick up or they did pick up, it doesn't really matter. You need to follow up. If you haven't closed the project right away and you call, follow up, they don't close it, keep following up. I do like almost once a week. I find it important to follow up and remind them, hey, like I'm waiting to get started with you. And clients like persistence. They see that if this is how you treat them before you even started the project, they can only imagine how great the project will go when you do start. Alright, so quick 9 tips, as you can tell, how to double up your rates. I used the same exact strategy back about 2 years ago, and ever since I'm just improving on it. And it really significantly increased my business to where I am today. My agency has grown probably triple since that time that we implemented the strategy. So guys, if that helps you, make sure you leave a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe below, leave a comment with your thoughts and what you're thinking of doing for increasing your revenue. And of course, for those of you that haven't joined in yet, make sure you get to our Facebook group, click join, because there's a lot of people in that community that help each other. I'm posting on there regularly as well, so if you have questions, make sure to ask. And until next time guys, I'll see you in the next video.